Marcus Manlius, who went down in history under the honorable nickname of Capitolius, was one of the best warriors of his time. According to ancient authors, he took part in numerous campaigns and received a number of state awards. In the 392nd year before Christ, Marcus Manlius was consul. During this period, he won a victory over the Equites and received an ovation for it. Manlius' finest hour was the defense of Rome. Then the fate of the city, besieged by the Gauls Senonese, hung in the balance. During the siege, the Gauls found a place where they could stealthily climb the Capitoline hill. This episode served as the basis for the legend of the geese that saved Rome. Devoted to Juno, the birds heard the approach of the enemy, raised a ruckus and woke the Romans. The earliest to wake up, according to Titus Livius, was Marcus Manlius. The warrior rushed towards the invaders and threw down the first Sino who climbed the hill. Following Manlius came up and other Roman soldiers. The attack was repulsed. For this feat, Manlius received gifts from the military tribunes. In addition, each soldier brought to his home half a pound of spelt and a quart of wine. Under siege conditions, this was no small amount. The feat made Manlius famous. The hero decided to use his popularity and wealth to gain the support of the people and turn them against the senators. One example is given by Titus Livius. One day Manlius met a centurion who was being led to prison for debts. The commander paid for him and immediately began to talk about the arrogance of the senators. Was it for this, Manlius lamented, that he had saved Rome? Impressed, the freed centurion, a veteran of many campaigns, joined the commander's supporters. Manlius then sold his estate near Veii and declared that as long as he lived, no Roman would be enslaved for debt. In private conversations with his supporters, Manlius denounced the patricians. Moreover, the capital protector accused the senators of stealing Gallic gold. Manlius clearly aspired to power. The incumbent dictator, Marcus Furius Camillus, was summoned to the capital to resolve the crisis. Arriving in Rome, Camillus placed a chair in the comitia, the seat of the popular assembly, and ordered Manlius to appear. The defender of the capital appeared with a crowd of supporters. Camillus demanded that he produce evidence of the senator's concealment of the gold or confess to lying. Manlius refused to speak and was arrested. Ordinary Romans were not pleased with the arrest of their hero. Camillus was given a triumph for his victories over neighboring nations, but the ceremony with Manlius aroused the anger of the people. Although the Senate took several measures to support the plebs after the arrest of the popular leader, the threat of rebellion grew. After Camillus resigned his dictatorial powers, Manlius was released from his imprisonment, and he continued to incite the people. It was then that word was first heard of giving the capital protector royal authority. Manlius was again summoned to court. Defenders of the commander reminded of his military merits and even brought out the armor of his enemies. The famous warrior was difficult to judge near the place where he made his main feat, so the court was moved to Petalinskia Grove, from which you cannot see the Capitol Hill. By a small margin at the trial the prosecution won. Manlius was thrown off the Tarpeian Rock. His house was destroyed, and his relatives were forbidden to name any sons in the Manlius family by the name of Marcus. It is difficult to see the truth behind the narrative of Titus Livius, created 3 centuries after the events described. But, as Titus Cornwell, a researcher of the topic, points out, there was indeed an internal crisis in Rome at that time, and Manlius must have been a historical figure. In any case, the ban on the name Mark in the Manlius family was observed in other centuries.